All right, hopefully you guys can hear me better now. My mic's on. Anyway, so I've been waiting patiently to harvest all of these dragon fruits. It's been a good 40 to 45 days. So I've been waiting about a month to a month and a half ever since I pollinated those dragon fruits. Don't get me wrong, all of those flowers are super beautiful, but the reward is actually getting to taste all of those fruits that you've worked so hard and stayed up so late to harvest or to pollinate. So today's the day, we're gonna go pollinate. So let's wait a little bit for more people to come, and then I'll go out to the dragons and then start harvesting them. And then I'll bring them here to this table and we'll start doing some tasting. I'll let you guys decide on what I should try first, and we'll see what's ready to try. Usually I like to eat my dragon fruits cold, like chilled in the refrigerator. I like to put it in there for 1 hour and then take it out and eat. But because we're doing it live today, I'll eat it right off the branch. This one, my sugar dragon here, I've actually left it in the fridge. So I brought it out just to have a nice cold treat because it's a little warm out here today. It's been about 90s here in Southern California, Anaheim. So it's been pretty hot. So this is gonna be a really nice snack to cool me down. I should have brought some water, but it's okay. All of these dragon fruit has so much juices. All right, let's say hi to all of the friends here. We got Emmanuel, Jonathan, Amy, Turtle Crawling, Anthony, Jay, D Leach. Hey guys, hope you guys are all doing amazing, and I hope that all of your dragon fruits are doing well as well, and you guys have plenty of fruit to harvest. This year specifically, dragon fruit season has started to bloom and ripe so late. Usually during springtime, I would have buds already going, and then by midsummer, I would have fruits to eat. But everything started in my area around midsummer. So now we're gonna get like end of the summer fruits, and some are gonna be in the fall as well. So let's go ahead and get some dragon fruit. And if you guys haven't liked this video yet, please give me a thumbs up. It's just gonna help me get more exposure, and then it tells me that you guys are enjoying the channel. So please, if you guys haven't yet, hit that thumbs up, that like button right there, and then I really appreciate y'all for that. So let's go out and see what's going on. As you can see here, lots of fruits here are starting to ripen. They're getting really red. I've marked the date on here. So I've pollinated this since July 29th. And when I counted since today, it's been about 43 days. So I know some of these are ready, but I'm just gonna probably take one off. But let's go see what else is ready. We're gonna go to the other area. I see a natural mystic right there. A lot of Asunta Six Sisters are starting to ripe. But over here, wow, look at this. This is a peak there yet. I would say this is about close, it's about 38, 35 days. I'm gonna leave this on maybe for another few days because the color, I see that it's starting to turn red, but not completely yet. I still see some green, I see some white patches here that's starting to blush up. So we'll leave that alone. Let's go over here. This is Vietnam White. They just started to bloom very late this season, so none of the fruits are ready yet. And this is Condor. Condor has a lot of fruits as well. They're all hidden under the canopy here. I have one here, but it doesn't look too ready yet. You guys can see, it's still a little green. I like it to be a little bit more red and that's when the complexity of the flavor gets really intense, and I love that. All right, so let's go over there. Ooh, here. Actually, here's a sugar dragon that we can harvest. So for me, you guys, I like to harvest the sugar dragons when they kind of look like this with a little bit of green. They are already so sweet. Even when you harvest them half green, the sugar content is already there, and it's gonna be really good tasting fruit. The reason why I harvest a little green is because I like the texture of the flesh to be a little bit more firm. If you let this go completely red, the texture starts to get a little soft, but the flavor is still really, really complex and delicious. But for me, I just like that little bit of harder texture when I eat dragon fruit because it gives me like more of like another aspect of in the dragon fruit. It makes it that much more better. So this one right here is also something I would harvest. You see how it's a little green here, but majority of all the fins are a little red already. I'll also take this one off. And another thing, you guys, if you pick dragon fruit while they're green and you leave them outside on your kitchen table, the skin will continue to change color. They'll get more and more red each day, but the flesh won't get any sweeter. So if you pick something a little too green and you leave it outside, don't be surprised if they start turning completely red. And that's totally normal. And we have another flower blooming tonight. Here's a sugar dragon. This is how I know when they're about to bloom. They bulb up like this, and I push on it, and you can see that it's starting to open already, so that's good. And here's one that I pollinated. A lot of people ask me, like, how do you know if a dragon fruit flower set into a fruit? You're gonna see this separation right here. I'm gonna let the camera get a little closer, and let me move this thinner here. You see that separation, the yellow and the green right there? Once you see that, and it's been about 4 days, you know that your pollination was successful and the fruit is now fertilized. So what I'm gonna do at this point is, I see that, I'm just gonna take this off, and when this stigma dries up, then I'll pull it off. But I'll leave it on there for now so I don't disturb the fruit. Okay, let's go see what else we can harvest, you guys. So we got 2 sugar dragons here, and I have a sugar dragon already sitting on that table. Not much here. I do see one over here. This one is called bubblegum. It's almost there. You see, it's starting to get red, but there's still a little bit of green left, but it feels like it's not hard rock anymore. It's starting to give a little bit of squish in there, but I know it needs a little bit more time. So we'll wait on that one. And that one can be for another video, and I'll harvest it and do that for you guys. So this is Natural Mystic. So Natural Mystic was pollinated on the 29th, so it's about the same as the Purple Haze over there. So this has been about 43 days. So let's go ahead and harvest this. And I used its own pollen. This is a self-fertile variety. And if you guys look at the bracts, they're starting to discolor and not stay as green anymore. Or let me bring it to the shade. There you go. You see how it's starting to turn yellow, and it's not quite as green, and the red's almost reaching the tip. That's another indication that I know the fruit is ripe. So this one is good to go. All right. Here we have a great cluster of pink panthers. Again, this is a sister of sugar dragon. The only difference with pink panther is the flesh is pink, while the sugar dragon's flesh is more red. So you see the wiggle test here? Very loose on the branch. I'm barely tapping them, and you guys can see it's starting to wiggle. So that's a really good indication. Here's one that's not completely ripe. You see I'm trying to wiggle it, and it's not really doing anything. So I know these are ready. One thing you gotta be careful about when you harvest pink panther is, and how you can tell when they're the difference is, pink panther has a thorn at the base. So if you come close, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right here. Here's this thorn here. So there's a thorn right here, and there's another thorn right at this bottom here. And if we look here, the thorn is actually right there as well. Right there. So when you harvest dragon fruit and you grab this and you don't have any gloves on, these thorns are so small and fine that it pokes and it hurts so much. So I've learned my lesson with pink panther. With sugar dragon, you don't have to worry about that. They don't have the thorn, and that's how you can tell the difference. So let's go ahead and harvest some of these. So I see those thorns. They're right there. So what I do is I just knock them off to make sure they're safe to handle. And they're usually at the base before I start handling them. Okay, let's take some of these off. All right, take these thorns off. So yeah, guys, pink panther has a thorn at the base. They're very small, and once they're fully ripe, you can just, kind of brush it and it come right off. Let's take this one as well. Yeah, I love these shears, you guys. You guys can find these shears in my Amazon link. I have it in my description, and I love how it curves like this. So when I harvest dragon fruit, it curves perfectly into the branch, so it's not touching the fruit. And when I snip it, it gives me a very, very nice clean cut, just like that. And you see how flush that is right there? It's because it hugs it just like this, and then you can just snip it right off. So highly recommend using these shears if you guys are harvesting dragon fruit, because sometimes I've used the other kinds. They're so bulky, and when I cut the fruit, I damage so much of the branch, and I sometimes even cut into the fruit, and it's a bummer. Okay, we have some Hannahs over here. Wow, these look like they're about ready as well. This one was pollinated on the 29th. This one, August. This one has no label. Let's just take one off and see how it is. So let's go with this one. This one's about 40 days since I pollinated it, so it should be right. Anyone else over here? Nope. Okay, let's go down to the trellis and see what else. Should have brought a bucket with me so I can carry all of these. But I'll put them on the table and then we're gonna go harvest some more fruits. So here we have Natural Mystic. These are our Sugar Dragons. We have Hannah. And then these are the Pink Panthers. And I'll remember which is which so you guys don't have to worry. All right. This one here is a Cosmic Charlie. Cosmic Charlie is such a great tasting variety, you guys. There's nothing special about it flower-wise, growth-wise. It's just a white flower, but what makes me keep it as a staple in my garden is the flavor of this is so, so good. Bricks on these easily get up to 20%, so you can't grow these wrong. You can probably do so little effort. All you have to do is probably pollinate and water them, and you'll get really good tasting fruit. So Cosmic Charlie is awesome. And this one has been on the vine since the 29th as well, so that's about 43 days. So let's go ahead and take them off. Wow, just check out how big this fruit is, you guys. Compare that to my head size. It's pretty close. It's probably about my newborn baby's head right now. Reese. Okay, so we have a Cosmic Charlie. Our table's getting full here. Let's get some of these exotic ones here. All right, so this is Frankie's Red. They're small fruits, but they are very, very, very complex in flavor and super sweet. I don't know what's up with the dragon fruits that are small. They usually taste so good. It probably makes up for their size, and that's why I think so. Let's take this one here. This one looks pretty big. It's starting to wiggle pretty good. They do have thorns though, just like the Pelora. And all you got to do is just brush them off, you guys. So here we go. Just make sure I'm getting most of these off. They come right off, and that's how you know they're ripe, because they're just so easy to come out. I'm barely just touching them with my shears here, and they're starting to just fly right off. And once I start sitting down and cutting into these dragon fruits and try them, then you guys can start asking those questions. So save those questions until I'm in front of my phone so I can see, okay guys? All right, let's get this clipped off. All right, here is a Frankie's Red. Let me just get the rest of these thorns out before I start handling them, because I do not want to get poked. I don't know about you guys, sometimes, you know, I forget, I don't want to wear the gloves, and I start handling dragon fruit, and there'll be a thorn stuck in my finger for about a week, and I won't even notice it until it starts to hurt a lot every time I touch something, and I'm like, what's wrong? And I look, and it's like a little tiny thorn in there. It's the worst feeling ever. So I started to become more careful about that. All right, I think I got most of the thorns off. It's looking good. So here we have it, guys. This is a little Frankie's Red. It's nice little orange fruits, different from the whole batch that we have there. So it's gonna be a nice comparison and contrast with all the other fruits. Put this down. Our table's looking really nice here. All right, we have some Purple Haze. These are getting pretty big. This one feels pretty loose. This one does too. So I'm just gonna see which one has more of a stretch on here, and that's the one I'm gonna take off. Ooh, all right. I'm gonna choose this one, because this one has mainly, all of the bracts are starting to change color. These ones are still a little bit more green, so I'm gonna leave those. But this one is starting to almost, you know, become completely red. So let's choose this one. Boom, wow, and Purple Haze. This is a nice size too. This feels like about a 1.5 pounder to me. It's a great size one right here. Okay, I think we have enough dragon fruit for tasting now, you guys. So let's go ahead and I'll start cracking into these. We'll eat some, and at the same time as I'm eating them, I'll explain to you guys how these taste. If you guys see any that you want me to try, go ahead and tell me, and then I'll try those. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So here we have sugar dragons. Boom. This one here is Hannah. We have here a purple haze. Big. This one here is Natural Mystic. We have Frankie's Red. These all here are Pink Panthers. Pink Panthers are a very nice size this time. And we have a Cosmic Charlie right here. So let's go ahead and just leave it on this side. All right, so these are all the fruits. Now let's get to answering some questions. And let me read some of these comments here and see what you guys are saying. All right, okay. First question is, what dragon fruit do you guys want me to try first? Frankie's Red, Pink Panther, Cosmic Charlie, Natural Mystic, Purple Haze, or Sugar Dragon? I also have Hannah, so I'll let you guys choose. All right, I see Pink Panther, and we have our first question here. I was wondering how long it takes a Pelora fruit after it changes color from green to yellow to pass the wiggle test. So for Pelora, it takes about 90 days from the flower, when the flower blooms and you pollinate it. Count the days from the day you pollinate it. 90 days from there, your Pelora should be ready for picking already. Here in California, we get hot and cold weather, hot in the daytime and cold in the nighttime. So for me, I've noticed I had to harvest around 100 days. So from 95 to 100 days would be a really good one if you're in the same climate as me in Southern California. But yeah, at 90 days start doing the wiggle test, and the other test is try to take off those thorns, and if those thorns fall off, you're good to go, because Pelora is such already a sweet variety. You're gonna have no trouble harvesting early. They're still gonna taste amazing. All right, the variegated. I will show you guys the variegated later, but it's actually behind me over there. It's starting to grow a lot of shoots, so that's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Pink Panther, Frankie's Red, Sugar Hannah, Frankie's Red, Sugar Dragon, Frankie's Hannah, Sugar Cos. Okay, I see Frankie's Red popping up a lot, and we only have one Frankie's Red, so let's go ahead and try this one, okay? Let me just move some of these fruits so you guys can actually see me do the cutting. I want you guys to experience everything that I experience, so that way we can all enjoy this together. Okay guys, here we have Frankie's Red. This looks like about a 4 ounce to 3 ounce fruit to me. They do grow a little bigger. They get to about Pink Panther size, but I think because this was so early in the season, they didn't get to grow so big, and I let 2 fruits grow side by side. But let's go ahead and let's get into this. I wonder how this is gonna taste. Okay, you guys are ready? Here we go. Wow, look at that. Flesh color, you guys. That's pretty cool. It's pink, has a little bit of white, it's a two-tone color in there. I probably could have let this go ripen a little bit more, but I think it's cool. It's about like a 50-cent size fruit. But let me go ahead and just tear this apart. Okay, so here we have it, guys. Frankie's Red, first dragon fruit of the season to be harvested and tasted. So let's go ahead and see how this one is. Oh yeah, that is delicious. It's almost like biting into crystallized sugar, and I can tell I harvest this is a little bit early because it kind of has like a pear tartness to it. Sorry guys, I just choked on a seed right now. It has kind of like a pear tartness to it, and the sugar is there. If you let this ripen any longer, it would be even more sweet, but I really already enjoy it at this state. Frankie's Red is definitely a keeper. This fruit is so tasty. It's very complex in dragon fruit flavor, and it reminds me a lot of, I would say, melon, pear, and apples all together. That's what I'm tasting at this point when I harvest it. As it gets sweeter, the flavor starts to change and it tastes completely different. But wow. Small fruit, but super pretty, and that tasted so good. Okay, let's go ahead and answer some questions before we jump into the next fruit. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and start asking them now, and I'll start reading them over and answering them, okay guys? Why don't you have a yellow dragon fruit? I do have yellow dragon fruit, but they're not ripe yet. Those are gonna be ready probably in another 2 months. I'll show you guys after we do some questions of all of the Pelora that I have ripening. There's so many. Looks like chameleon. Yeah, it does. All right, here, let's do K Vong. Hi, Richard. My Pelora keeps on producing more stems and zero flower. It's been over 2 years and I fertilize it the same as the other varieties, but still no luck with it. Any advice? So, if you haven't tried my secret weapon yet, the Flora Nova Bloom, usually when I have stubborn dragon fruit that's mature and they don't fruit, I like to give them that fertilizer. So it's by General Hydroponics. You can find that in my Amazon link in the description. It's called Flora Nova Bloom. And I would give it about 1.5 teaspoon per gallon and give it that once a week until you see it start to bloom. That usually does a trick. It's such a great fertilizer and it jump starts the flowering phase for dragon fruit so well that I would only use it sparingly when I have a dragon fruit that doesn't bloom too quickly or it's just starting to take too long to bloom. That's when I start to use it. I also use it too when I graft dragon fruits and I want it to bloom so I can taste the fruit. About 10 months once it starts to grow from my graft, I'll start giving it some bloom fertilizer, and during this flowering season, I'll start to see some buds as well. And if it doesn't bud for you after that, it just might mean that your weather conditions aren't ideal for it yet, because the Pelora likes really hot weather. And once it's really hot, they start to bud like crazy. And once they do start to bud, it's endless. Like I can show you guys, my Pelora keeps producing new buds and I have so many fruits on there already. I might have to thin some because I have so many. All right, so hopefully I answered that question. Where should I buy my dragon fruit plants from? So that's a really good question, you guys. I will be launching Grafting Dragon Fruits with an S.com soon. And we will be offering cuttings, but that won't be there until fall because I have so many fruits on every single branch. I'm not able to take cuttings yet because if I do, then I'm just gonna be cutting off all of the unripe fruits with those branches. And we're also gonna be selling t-shirts and tank tops. So I don't know if you guys seen it yet. I've been posting it up on my Instagram. We have now white tank tops and white t-shirts and black tank tops and black t-shirts of Grafting Dragon Fruit. And I'll show you guys the back real quick. It has my logo. So for everybody that's been wanting to support me, this is a great way to start. They will be sold on the website. So those are gonna be released on the website once it launches. And you guys will see cutting listings on there. They're gonna say not available or sold out, mainly because the branches or the cuttings aren't ready yet. So during the fall time is when the cuttings will drop. So get onto that website, get familiar with it. When during fall time, like around November, is when the cuttings is gonna be released and there'll be a stock of them. So that's when all these fruits should be finished. So very good question, you guys. What's your favorite dragon fruit so far? My favorite dragon fruit has always been sugar dragon. This one is small. And since we're talking about it, let's go ahead and cut into it. My favorite dragon fruit has always been sugar dragon. Why? Because it's a great variety for beginners. They are very high in production and go in multiple waves of fruits. And they are self-fertile. So for a beginner that's just growing and they don't have dragon fruit yet, this is a great variety to grow and it will get you hooked on to the dragon fruit addiction. That's what happened to me. Once I tried my sugar dragon, I was like, I have to grow this variety. And here we go. Let's cut into sugar dragon. So this one, it was actually chilled in my fridge. And just look at how beautiful that color is, you guys. So vibrant, magenta, red, whatever color you guys want to call it. All I know is this is a really great tasting fruit. So I'm gonna save the other half so when I cut Pink Panther, I can show you guys the difference. So let's go ahead and take a bite of this. This is one that's been in the fridge, so I know it's nice and cold and it's really warm out here. So let's go ahead and try this sugar dragon, you guys. That is so amazing. Wow. They're small, but they pack a lot of flavor and they never disappoint me. Go to Quest now. No. Yeah. Sugar dragon is so good, guys. Wow. Like I said, this one you can never go wrong. They're super easy to grow and the flavor is always gonna be there. All right, let's answer some more questions. What temperature, this is from True Turtle Crawling 66. What temperature should I set my greenhouse for dragon fruit? I have Sugar Dragon and Ecuador Pelora. They are just starting to sprout new shoots from cutting. So ideal growing temperatures for dragon fruit, they are very happy in the range of 75 Fahrenheit to 85 Fahrenheit. So anywhere between 75 to 85, just play around with those and see how vigorous your growth is and set it to that temperature. I know in greenhouses it's hard to stabilize that, so set it to a temperature where the sun comes out and it raises, it doesn't exceed over 90 degrees. That's when they start to get a little dehydrated. I would say not dehydrated, but it gets too hot for them to be happy. So 75 to 85 is really good ideal temperatures to grow in your greenhouse. Okay, how do you collect pollen? I collect pollen with a little mini keyboard vacuum. You guys can also find that in my Amazon link. So if you guys go to my Amazon link, I use this little keyboard vacuum, and at nighttime when the flower blooms, I go and use that, and it sucks all of the pollen to the canister, and it's so easy and fast. So I love to collect pollen that way. And you guys can find that video on my shorts, my YouTube shorts. It should be on there. Okay. Let's go with where can I buy plants to start my own garden. So like I said, Grafting Dragon Fruits with an S.com is going to be launching soon, and we will not be doing any global shipping just yet because it just requires a lot of permits, and we haven't really gotten there yet. So I would be anybody that's in the United States or within our partner countries, I can send it to you guys, but anywhere out of the US, we're going to look into that for the future. So hang on tight for all of the international people. All right, how do you cover your dragon fruits during a mild winter? I had 5 days of 20 days the last year, and I lost my American Beauty and Physical Grade. Hope this none this year. What I've seen people do during the winter when the dragon fruits, or when it starts to get cold during the winter, is people put a tarp over it, like a blue tarp, or even just a big painter's tarp over it, and they'll put LED Christmas lights under there. So they'll hang Christmas lights in there, and it produces enough heat to prevent from frost happening. So if you guys have winter where it snows or gets too cold at night where frost actually happens, go ahead and cover it with a tarp or with some painter's tarp and put LED Christmas lights under there, plug it in, and it'll keep it warm enough so that way they don't chill. And if you guys think it's gonna be way too cold where there's gonna be actually a lot of snow, if you guys can, I would suggest you pull it into the garage until all of that winter passes and then bring them back out. And if they're already established and way too heavy to pull in, make a greenhouse and have an established greenhouse just for the winter. I've heard so many stories of people growing all year long, all of this work, and then when winter hits, it kills everything in a second. So it only takes about 30 seconds of frost coming for them to start dying. So greenhouse is very helpful. All right, how do you make your dragon fruit plants thicker? So that's a good question too. To make your dragon fruit plants thick is you have to keep it in an area that doesn't have too much sun all day. If there's too much sun and it's scorching the branches, they get weak and they get sunburned, and that's when all of the branches starts to get shriveled. And you got to make sure your watering routine is up to point. The minute it gets too hot and those roots get hot, they start to damage the roots, so they're not intaking water no more, and your branches are going to start to shrivel. So how I keep my branches so thick is I give it fertilizer almost every 2 weeks to a month. I'll use some Dr. Earth Bud and Bloom Flower Girl, and I'll add that onto the top about 1 to 2 cups every month, and I'll just water to the top. And I water my plants during this time about every 3 to 4 days. So keep up with your water routine, fertilize regularly, and you will have healthy looking branches. All right, let's go to the next question. Sugar Dragon for first timers, okay, I got it, thank you, need to go get it. Yes, Sugar Dragon is the very good variety for beginners. All right, I love dragon fruit, I love dragon fruit too. Hi Richard, my dragon fruit, this is from Ali. Hi Richard, my dragon fruit gets 9 hours direct sun from April to August. Rest of the year they get 2 hours of direct sun. Mild winter, no frost. Will they fruit? Yes, they will fruit. Like I said, once it hits summertime and it's dragon fruit season, they will start to flower and bud. The only difference is during the winter, they don't even need that much sun because they go into hibernation. So it's okay for the winter time to not get a lot of sun, but 8 to 9 hours of sunlight is perfect amount of sunlight for your dragon fruit. So you're doing okay. Okay, let's go ahead and crack into another dragon fruit, and then we will get some more questions answered. So this is a pink panther. I wanted to show you guys the difference from pink panther and sugar dragon. I know they look the same, but you guys can tell that by the skin color they're a little different, but the shape wise they look pretty similar, right? So let's cut into this pink panther. Ready? Here we go. Bam! So here's pink panther, and this is our sugar dragon. So you guys can see pink panther's fruit is actually pink, and then sugar dragon is a little bit darker in color, like a darker magenta, and that's the difference. And then the spines that I told you guys about. But even though they look the same, the flavors are completely different. So let's go ahead and take a bite into this pink panther. And look at that skin, you guys. That skin to fruit flesh ratio is so nice. Look how thin it is. That is what I call the perfect fruit. So here we go. Wow. This is so sweet. I felt like I just bit into crystallized sugar, and the aftertaste of it is so refreshing. It's so nice. It's almost like coconut water just resting on your tongue, and you get this sharp crystallized sugar right when you bite into it. That is so nice. Wow. This one is also a great beginner's variety. It's self-fertile, very fruitful, and you just need to hand pollinate it. No cross-pollination needed, and the fruit tastes so good. It's so worth it. Even though they're small, they're a great one to have in the garden because they can produce so much waves of fruit. I'll get 3 to 4 waves of sugar dragon and pink panther every season, so that's very nice. Pink panther, you guys, double thumbs up. That one was really good. That one was so good. Okay, let's answer some more questions. I'm gonna read these through. Sorry guys, they're starting to pile up here and I can only answer them so quick. Daniel, hi Daniel. Fuzzy, it's my birthday. Happy birthday, Fuzzy. Hopefully you're another age wiser. So happy birthday to you. Okay, Grimmith Jow, we'll have to wait to be available global. Sorry, yeah, for all the international people I know. What I can offer for all the international people is I can start sending some seeds. So what I plan to do is I do all of these cross hybrids and I make all these new creations, and I want to start offering my seeds so that way the people that can't buy the cuttings yet can buy my seeds, and if you guys have established dragon fruit, you guys can graft them and have my variety still, but they're not just going to be cuttings, but you guys are just going to have to learn how to graft them. Hence the whole channel. And oh, whoa. Yeah, hence my whole channel. It's all about grafting dragon fruit. So if you guys ever have any trouble with that, my channel shows you guys how to do all that. So that's why I'll be offering seeds. Okay. What happened if dragon fruit is brown? I don't know what that means by what happened if dragon fruit is brown. If it's brown or yellow, that probably means it aborted already. So keep an eye out on that. Would I be able to pick up cuttings in person? I live in SoCal as well. So Dan the man, it will just be easier for you to purchase cuttings through my website because if I have people over here, I have kids and I just worry with all of the people coming over. I don't want my kids to be catching anything. So until they're a little older, I won't be offering any live sales. If I ever do a pop-up event, then that's one way you're gonna get my cuttings live. Okay, let's go ahead. I need to build a greenhouse. Yes, you need to build a greenhouse. One guy online. I have dragon fruit plant that has very narrow leaves. What species could it be? It's very hard to tell what kind of species it is by just you giving me a little description. I would need pictures, fruit, flower, the whole detail to narrow it down. And even though I narrow it down, I still won't even know what happened, what kind it is. But let's go ahead and crack into another dragon fruit. We have Natural Mystic right here. So this one looks very different from the rest of these dragon fruits. But I'm actually really excited to eat this one because it's been quite a while since I've had this variety. So I would say like at least a year and a half. Last year I didn't get any buds, but this year I have so many. So you guys ready? Here we go. Wow, look at the vibrant colors of this natural mystic, you guys. And look at the seeds. They look so crunchy. And the juices are starting to flush out already. Wow, can't wait. Okay, let's get a slice of this natural mystic and see how it is. Wow. Okay, cheers, guys. Natural mystic. Mmm. Mmm. So this one, it's good, but it's not as sweet as the Pink Panther or the Sugar Dragon. It tastes a little earthy to me. I think I may have let it overripe or it's not completely ripe yet. But I would say 43 days is a pretty good base. Maybe I needed to pick this a little earlier. So even though it's self-fertile, this one can probably improve a little bit more. But I hear a lot of stories of Natural Mystic being really good. So I probably just harvested it a little too late because I do notice the skin is really, really red. Take another bite. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not too much complexity in that Natural Mystic. Maybe because I ate the sweet ones so early that it kind of played down the Natural Mystic for me. Okay, let's answer some more questions, you guys. Um, you've been looking into Dallas for watering your dragon fruit by any chance? Olas, no, because those olas, if it starts to rain and those olas starts collecting too much water, root rot can happen so easily because those olas are going to be right next to the roots. So I wouldn't recommend using them for dragon fruit. You need really good draining soil for dragon fruits to be happy, or you're going to get a lot of rot in the roots, and then their base starts to get mushy, and they're going to start just getting destroyed. So I wouldn't recommend that. All right. If you guys haven't hit that like button yet, make sure you guys hit that like button for me, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Is there any way to know what variety I have? Bought a red flesh and a white flesh from Lowe's. So, Jeffrey, it's very, very, very difficult to tell or pinpoint exactly what varieties you guys have, especially when you buy from Home Depot or Lowe's. The only way to really know is if you're buying it from a collector or someone that sold it to you. That's the only way to really know, because there are hundreds, I tell you guys, of different varieties out there. It's really hard to pinpoint what specific variety that is. So I'm sorry I couldn't help you guys there. I would just call it no ID and label it as red flesh or white flesh, and then start collecting the varieties that you know for sure what they are by other collectors. All right, I have a dragon fruit plant from seed, or let's answer this one, Paul. Renee, I have an unknown variety that just started budding. What kind would you say it is? Oh, so that just falls into the other question. It's really hard to pinpoint down. If you like the fruit, just label it as the color of the fresh and keep it if it's good, but if it's not good, get rid of it and toss it. I'm from the Caribbean. I can't wait for the global shipping. All right, so that's cool to hear. Okay. All right, guys, I'm just gonna move this table because the sun is starting to glare into me. And the sun is still here. Okay, we had to rearrange the table so that way the sun wasn't just burning me right now. All right, answer some more questions. Watering. So every 3 to 5 days is when I water, or when I stick my finger down and the top soil is 2 inch dry from the top, that's when I water. Okay, let's go ahead and cut into some more fruits. We have so many cut fruits here. Let's do purple haze. Yeah, let's cut into this purple haze. Let's cut into one of the big ones. Okay, you guys ready? Here we go. Whoa, look at that. Wow, what an massive fruit. Look at that flesh color. It's a little lighter. Almost reminds me of Pink Panther. Kind of looks like it. It's kind of like the purple pink flesh. Okay, this is so big, I don't need to cut half of it, just a wedge. And even though I cut that wedge, wow, it's still so big. All right, guys, here's Purple Haze. Cheers. Mmm. Wow, tarty with a perfect amount of sweetness. This one could definitely ripen a little bit more. So even though it was at 43 days, you gotta see, that's why I pick one at a time and not all of them at once, because if I do that, they might all taste the same. So I pick one a little early, one a few days later, and I just keep doing that until I find that perfect match of when to harvest. Grapey, berry, you get a raspberry tart in there. Purple haze is always a really good one to have. And for the ones that I don't like, if the flavors aren't or the sugar isn't quite there yet, I'll turn them into Dragonade. And I have that video on my YouTube. I make dragon fruit lemonade with them. So nothing goes to waste. That was nice. Okay, let's see. Getting excited for it to be available globally. Yes, I am gonna make that happen for all of the global people out there. I'll be leaving Japan for work again. I'm here to visit my family only. Oh, cool. I noticed in your new house tour, you mentioned that you would change how your soil, your pot is. So Dan, the man, that is absolutely right. I'm gonna be changing my soil from Fox Farm to Gary's Best topsoil, and that's gonna be a whole different video. But all of my dragon fruits that's been growing in Fox Farm, I've been growing them in Fox Farm for about 4 to 5 years now, and they're still doing great. It's just a little bit more work to grow it in Fox Farm, because some of these pots, their roots are so established and compressed now. I have to go out there with a pick and poke holes into the soil so that way it gets aeration. And that's like the main thing I do to keep my plants in Fox Farm soil happy. Is you gotta make sure you loosen the dirt so that way aeration is in there so they stay happy. But yeah, the new video of the new soil, Gary's Best topsoil, will be coming soon. So glad you point that out. Thanks for the live video and congratulations. Thank you for chiming in and watching. I appreciate everybody that's here and joining in with me tonight. They look so good. I love my natural mystic. The dragon fruit skin just gets off so easy, looks satisfying. I know, that peeling of the skin off the flesh, I love it. Okay, let's cut into another one. We have Cosmic Charlie, and then we just have Hannah, and then we'll end it there, guys. So let's go ahead and cut into the Cosmic Charlie. So Cosmic Charlie and Purple Haze are actually sisters. So you're gonna see a resemblance. Yeah, it looks very close to each other. So if you pollinate these two, if you take Purple Haze and you pollinate Cosmic Charlie, they won't be fertilized. You're gonna have to use a different pollen like Pink Panther or Natural Mystic or Sugar Dragon. And if you take Cosmic Charlie and vice versa, pollinate Purple Haze, they won't ever fruit. So make sure you guys write that down. Purple Haze, Cosmic Charlie, Delight, they're all related and you can't use their pollen with each other to cross-pollinate. Okay, let's take a little slice off of this Cosmic Charlie and let's see which sister tastes better today. Here we go. And look at that satisfying peel of the skin. It comes right out. That's so cool, you guys. All right, cheers. Wow, Cosmic Charlie. If this was cold, this would taste so amazing now. It has a nice tart, but right when you bite into the flesh, the tart goes away right away. You have a gush of sugar is just coming right out. Very, very berry grape flavor, just like its sister, Purple Haze. That was delicious. Okay, last one. We're gonna cut to Hannah. And here we go. So Hannah is a white flesh, different from all of these other ones we have here. Wow, look at that. So you guys see this gelatin part or jelly looking like area here is actually because of heat stress. When it's really, really hot, you're gonna encounter this jelly texture here. It's because the flesh cooks before it can even fully ripe. So you guys ever see that and wonder why that happens? It's because it's so hot. How to combat against it is you can wrap it with a paper brown bag so that way the heat doesn't cook it. So that's why you guys will see that. So I'm not gonna eat that jelly part because all of the flavor there is non-existent. So let's try this side right here. Here we go. Cheers. Wow. It's so cool how it has the flavor profile of rambutan and lychee, and it's like, I don't know, the fragrance of it is just so appealing and so different from all of these purple and pink flesh color. Even though they're white, they have actually have a really nice flavor profile. So Hannah's kind of like lychee to me, lychee or lychee. Yeah. It also almost tastes like Logan to me as well. That's really interesting. All right, guys, so you guys have any other questions, go ahead and drop them now. We'll spend the last 5 minutes answering questions, and then I'm gonna call it a night because the mosquitoes are starting to eat us out here. All right, I have, let's answer. Brian Lee, should I add any fertilizer when it starts to bud to get bigger fruits? Yes, once the fruits and buds starts to form, add fertilizer. I use Dr. Earth Flower Girl Bud and Bloom. It's an organic fertilizer which will feed your plants for up to 2 weeks or even up to a month. And all I do is I take a cup or 2 cups and I'll put it on the top, scratch it in the surface, and water it. And what's going to do is continue to feed your plants, your fruits, so that way it becomes sweeter and your branches don't get dried up from losing all these nutrients because it's going to the fruits. So it's really good that you guys are fertilizing once you have buds and fruits. How heavy is the purple haze? The purple haze felt like a good 1.5 pounds to me. That was a pretty massive fruit. I was looking to purchase a Katai 2. Will you have any cuttings? So Mo, Katai 2 is not my variety to sell yet. It was actually given to me by a friend in Puerto Rico. It's his variety. So once he's ready to drop those cuttings, then I'll ask him for permission to release Katai 2. But for now, it's just in my garden for myself to enjoy. And once it's available and he gives me the blessing to release it, then I'll have some Katai 2 cuttings. So thank you for asking. Um, is purple haze the largest amongst the dragon fruit known? The largest dragon fruit known is actually red laverne. Those ones get so big, you guys. So let's just start doing a little bit of tour and I'll answer questions for you guys. I'm gonna show you guys the biggest dragon fruit known as of now, and it's called red laverne. So it's right over here. So red laverne, this is red laverne. It's not even completely ripe yet. And look at the size of it. My hands are large size gloves and they grow up to 2.5 to 5 pounds easily. Here's another unripe one that still needs to grow. Yeah, they get really big. Red laverne is one of those monstrous size dragon fruit, and they get so big consistently every time. Here's one I just pollinated. Look at the size of the bud. It's green and it looks like the size of Hana already. So they grow really, really big, guys. All right, some more questions. Have you ever tried somatic graft? I have not tried somatic grafting just because I haven't seen any proof that it works yet, and I don't really want to waste my time until I see more people trying it. And if it does work, then I'll probably try to experiment for myself. My main thing is I like to graft my own hybrids that I create. That's more of a for sure thing than a somatic, because I won't know what comes out of that. So I don't do that. Other questions? Can you ship India seeds? Yeah, I will have seeds in my website. Like I said, that will be available for global shipping. Could you do a cross with Trisha and Wild Berry Skittles you made? So Trisha is actually the mom of Wild Berry Skittles, so it won't work. They're related to each other. I recently tore down one of my red trellis in 20 gallon pot after 3 hours. The roots were off the chart, even growing up inside their posts. Yes, dragon fruit roots can get very vigorous, you guys. They grow like crazy and compress, and they can actually get out of your pot. And if you guys are growing on soil like me, they'll start to grow into the grass. So I have a lot of these established pots now with the roots growing into the grass. I got one, and I'm really interested to know more about it. Cool. Do the ribs change on dragon fruit seed? I have one small red variety, 5 ribs. I see mostly 3 ribs on full grow. Yes, so when they're seedlings, they have 4 to 5 sides, what we call them sides. And as they become adolescents, they start to get 3 to 4 sides. And when they become adult, mature dragon fruit, they'll have 3 sides. So, okay. So we have one more question, and then we're gonna end the night. Let's see, watching you from there, what's the difference between cutting and seeding? Okay, so last question from Florence Davis. What's the difference between cutting and seeding? Cutting is a clone. So when you're growing from a cutting, you're gonna get exactly what the fruit is. So if I give you guys a cutting of this Asunta 5 here, and I give you this cutting, then you're gonna grow a soon to 5. But if you're growing from a seedling, it's not gonna be true to the plant that you're getting. If I were to take a seedling from this, whatever I pollinated with is gonna be a hybrid now. So it's gonna be a completely different fruit. So if you want the exact fruit, then you get cuttings. But if you're trying to grow a new variety with different characters of its parents, then you're gonna grow it from seeds. So that's why I grow seeds, because I can create new varieties. But if you want the exact cutting of that fruit, let's say you ate this and you like it, you're gonna need cuttings for that, okay guys? All right. So those are all the questions I'm going to be answering today. Thank you for joining in with me for harvesting all of my first dragon fruits of the season. And you guys got to watch me eat them. Hopefully you guys enjoy some of those taste tests that I just did. And if you guys enjoyed any of them, you can grow them yourself. So thank you for joining, guys. And if you guys haven't hit that like button yet, go ahead and hit that like button. And I'll see you guys on the next live. All right, have a good night, everyone. Bye.